free publicity, or free-ish publicity, is a very useful way of people getting their brand out. So having stories to talk to the press about, hopefully you've got an idea that a story to tell about your business that sets it apart from other businesses, and if you're going to do, if you're going to come up with, stories for the press, try to do it in a fun way, try to make people smile, have a lot of fun with yourself and your staff in doing it. Sometimes it'll backfire, sometimes it'll work great, and just and build it up over the years to come.
So where did a lot of these ideas come from? These big wild ideas, we're going to do this, like it was mainly from you, or from you sort of pulled the whole team together?
In the early days, I was very involved. As time went on, I would turn up at a city without even knowing what stuff had been arranged for me. And they got more and more outrageous, and sometimes more and more dangerous. And in fact, it just reminded me, when I was last in Las Vegas, I arrived in Las Vegas, and Virgin America, which was a new airline we set up in America, had just started flights.
Yeah. Love it.
It just started flights from San Francisco to Las Vegas, and I got off the plane, and they said, "We've got a fun thing for you to do. Come to the Palms Hotel. We're going to get you to jump off the top." So I'm driving from the airport to the Palms Hotel, and there was something niggling in my head which made me feel uncomfortable. The wind was blowing, I thought, at about 40 or 50 miles an hour. And normally I have a stuntman in England who sort of comes and vets these things before I do them, and he wasn't with me. So we get to the Palms, and I get in the lift, and I'm going up to the top floor, and I'd just seen all these people waiting at the bottom of the Palms, big party for Virgin America, and about the 85th floor or something, I said to somebody, "Look, I'm really sorry, I just want to go back to a room, just give me 20 minutes breathing space just to have a think about this." So I went back to my room, I was pacing up and down, and then somebody came in and said, "Richard, look, all the press are waiting on the roof. But you don't have to jump, but just come and do a photograph with them." And I thought, oh well, I know what's going to happen. But so I said, all right, well, I'll come up to the roof, and I get on the roof, and one of the organisers said, "Look, see, there's no wind." There was an 8-foot high wall all around where I was standing. But my brain was saying, I've come this far, I might as well jump. So the next moment I'm hurtling down the side of the building, and the wind took me, and fortunately my face was facing outwards, but hit me into the side of the building, and my jeans were completely ripped and blood was pouring from my I arrived at the bottom feeling like a rag doll, and yeah, so sometimes these things can but yeah, there's a rather sad bit on the internet, I think, if you look up palms, idiot jumping off palms.
So you've obviously had some amazing achievements in life. Is there any one of those achievements that really stands out to you as your greatest achievement ever?
Well, I think for everybody in this room, it's the first, it's their first business, their first thing that they do is the most difficult. And people say to me, how can you run a couple of hundred companies, and how can you look after all these thousands of people and all these sorts of things? But you know, once you've actually built, once you've got to a certain stage, you can delegate, you can find great people, and it's, you know, relatively easy. So the really tough time is the time that most people in this room are going through, and that's that, you know, the early struggling stage to try to you know, make your mark, get your company going, create something you can be proud of, you know, make sure it's the best in whatever you're doing, you know, motivating your team, working day and night, you know, to make it happen. You know, you'll have it'll be a stress on your relationship with your partner. You may do what I did, and, you know, sort of quietly get your girlfriend or wife to sign a piece of paper which mortgages your house, and you pray you don't have to tell her what she signed 2 or 3 years later. Anyway, it's really tough. So if you can get through, you know, getting through that first stage. I mean, yes, you know, I was really proud of the magazine that we produced, and, you know, we like to think, you know, all of us young people who were campaigning against that war finally was brought to a halt. LBJ, how many kids did you kill today? You know, we were all out there trying to bring it to a halt. And it was, yeah, it was very satisfying. But and then, you know, you know, once you've learned how to run one business, I think you can run any business. You know, and you can almost run any business in any sector. Again, people used to say when we went from magazines into records, from records into studios, from studios into airlines, from airlines into train companies and so on. You know, I mean, aren't you stretching the brand too far? You know, and so on. But if you know, if you can run one business, you know, the key thing is learning the art of delegation, finding good people. I think early on, when you're running a business, find somebody who hopefully is better than you to run it on a day-to-day basis. And then you can become a true entrepreneur. You can also spend more time with your family. If you've got children, you can spend more time looking after yourself, keeping fit and healthy, which is critical in life. You can make sure you don't burn out. You can look at the bigger picture. And it'll cost you more. You're going to have to, you know, pay somebody a big salary to be you. I mean, from very early on, I withdrew from the office so that, you know, because people always want to see the top person in the building. If you're not there, somebody else takes on all the sort of daily chores that the top person has to take on. If you could, you know, I withdrew back to my houseboat where I could really plan in the bigger picture things. And I think it's like, you know, one of the best bit of advice. A lot of entrepreneurs have come back to me. You know, they've managed to get their business established, and then I've said to them, now, don't just cling on for years and years and years. You know, step aside, have somebody else do the day-to-day running. And, you know, they've come back 2 or 3 years later saying that was, you know, the best bit of advice they could have.